Well, today we're going to be talking about faith. And you might be thinking, oh, faith in God. Yes, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be from a different angle or perspective, something that you may or may not have thought of. So, if this at all piques your interest, well, stay tuned. Now, I know what some of you guys are probably thinking. What other angle or avenue is there to faith? You either believe in God or you don't. Well, stick with me and we'll dive into this and unpack this a little bit. And maybe you might actually experience the same thing I did, because when I heard this, I was a little... So, who knows? This thought actually came from Nona Jones. I've included a clip of hers before in one of my previous videos. But she was talking about this idea of faith. She said that God had revealed this to her. And when she mentioned this, I was shocked. I was like, that's kind of profound. If that's really what faith is, then whoa. So I wanted to show this clip to you and then unpack it and discuss it and see. So check this clip out and then we'll discuss.
God gave me a revelation years ago about faith that I need to give to all of you today. We get faith twisted. We think that faith is trusting God. We say, well, I have faith that God's gonna do it. I trust that God's gonna do it. Brothers and sisters, God is God whether you trust him to be God or not. It's not your trust in God that is faith. Faith is God being able to trust you. If you have faith, when God speaks, that's it. What God says is wrong, that's it. What God says is right, that's it. When God speaks and it doesn't make sense, I'm still moving in the darkness because my God has called me forward. Faith is, can God trust me?
Now, there are some of you that are probably like me. When you heard that, you're like, phew. But there are some of you that are kind of pushing back and you're like, I don't know about that. I think faith is our belief in God. Well, I wanted to bring up the definition of faith so that we can kind of be on the same page. So, for your viewing pleasure, I have the definition for you up on the screen. Faith is the complete trust or confidence in someone or something. A strong belief in God. Well, what is belief? I'm glad you asked. Belief is an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. Trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. Well, what is trust? Trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. So I don't know if you guys have heard the saying, trust is a two-way street, but this is true. You cannot build trust if both parties don't have this firm belief in the reliability, truth, and ability or strength of someone or something. So it's a two-way street. So if we say that we have faith in God, than this idea that he is able to trust us, that when he says something, that's it. That's it. Regardless of whether we know or understand why he's telling us to move or make this decision or talk to this person or do this, or whatever the case is, whatever the instructions are, we don't see the bigger picture. But if he tells us to move, we move. That's it. So it's just really interesting to look at it from that angle. Now, some of you might be thinking to yourself, well, how do we know if it's really God then that's talking to us, that's telling us to move this direction or that direction, to do this or that? And I'm really glad you asked that question, because I have an answer. So, and that answer is going to be in the form of another clip. So, and then we'll dissect this too. So, check this out. So this whole thought of, if we used our Bibles like we do our phone, and we were walking around kind of doing this, always looking at the Bible, reading the Bible, we would have this relationship, this built relationship with God, so that we know his voice. This is how we know his voice. This is how we know when he tells us to move, to do this or do that, or go here or go there, talk to this person, spend money on this thing or whatever, that it's him, because we recognize his voice. It's like if somebody called me on the phone and I answered the phone and they didn't even say their name. They just said, "Hey, Alex, what's going on?" But I knew who it was because I recognized their voice. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Instead, if somebody called and we didn't have them in the contacts, "Hey, Alex, who's this?" "Oh, this is so-and-so." What kind of relationship do you want? Because that's dependent upon, when God says something, we move. That's it. Whether we understand it or not. We have to be in that kind of a place, in that kind of a relationship with him. That's what he wants. Full trust and surrender. That's faith. So, I don't know if this challenged some people, if this just gave us something to think about, something to kind of sit with and ponder, because when I first heard it, it sure did for me. If we look at it like that, if we look at faith like that, God's ability to trust us, that when he says something, we move. We don't ask how high, we don't ask how far, we don't ask why. We just move in obedience. We move. That's pretty profound, because it's not all about us. It's about him. Always about him. So I thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in this week. And I hope this really encouraged people to build your faith, strengthen your faith, dive into your word, read your word, pray. Surround yourself with fellow believers to build that relationship, help build and cultivate that relationship. So until next week, I hope you guys really do stay safe out there and be blessed. Next week's video is going to be very, I wouldn't really say interesting, but more encouraging, hopefully. We're going to be talking about families, more specifically children, having children. So if this intrigues you at all, please tune in next week. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts below and let me know what you think, and share it with a friend and a family member. Both. Everyone. Get the word out there. Help people to know so that they can also build their relationship and strengthen their faith. So until next week, stay safe.